Welcome to the second video on how to win those important matches under pressure. In the first video, I showed you a very effective exercise to help you remain more calm on the court, which will allow you to focus on the process, and that's really the basis for winning those important matches under pressure. So if you haven't watched the first video yet, I highly recommend you watch that one first. You can simply click on the link above this video. So now that you know how to remain more calm and focused during a match, the question becomes, what exactly should you focus on when playing matches? As you know, I'm a very technical coach, and I believe that technique is essential for your success as a tennis player. However, in order to develop a real match mindset, we need to get away from thinking about technique. Players report over and over that they play their best tennis in matches when they don't think about technique. Ideally, you get into a flow-like state where you don't think much at all. Maybe you just think a little bit about strategy. When we do technical training, we focus on hitting shots rather than playing points. Now we need to make a transition from technical training to match play, and that is something that many students struggle with. So what are some effective ways to get into more of a match mindset? First of all, we want to start thinking about strategy. So we want to think about where to hit the ball rather than how to hit the ball. Some of the things you may want to focus on are, what patterns favor me? Do I want to be in a backhand to backhand exchange, or is a forehand to forehand exchange better for me, and how can I get into that exchange? Or another thing to often think about at the club level is, does my opponent have a weak backhand, and how can I attack that weak backhand? So getting into more of a strategy focus is the first key towards a match mindset. Oftentimes, switching your focus more to strategy is not enough though. You've trained your brain to think about technique while you play tennis, and it can be difficult to get away from those thoughts. In this case, I generally recommend a very old and effective drill called the bounce hit drill. With this drill, you say bounce every time the ball bounces and hit every time you hit the ball or your opponent hits the ball. What will happen is that you'll get into a sort of meditative mindset after a while of doing this, and the technique thoughts will go away. So this can be very effective. The other thing that can happen, if you say the word out a little bit loud as you hit, so if you say hit as you hit, you're actually forcing yourself to breathe out while you hit, which is also crucial. A lot of players struggle when they overthink things because they don't breathe out as they hit. They hold their breath, and that makes you very tight. Another focus that is extremely effective in matches is a footwork focus. I use this a lot when I compete. So essentially you focus on your legs, you focus on having a wide athletic base, you focus on having a low center of gravity, and you really want to feel your legs working. You want to feel the muscles pushing off the ground, keeping your feet moving, making all these small adjustment steps, and just focusing in on that will take your attention away from thinking about technique, and now you can execute the technique that you practiced previously without thinking about it. So I find this extremely effective, and that's another one that you can try out. So these are some strategies for getting into more of a match mindset and playing well under pressure. The key to remember here is that we need to get away from thinking about technique during matches. Instead, we want to focus more on strategy, and then we combine that with drills that help you get into more of a flow-like state where you don't overthink things. Unfortunately, it is not quite as easy as simply focusing 100% on technique during technical training and then 100% on strategy during match play. There really is a continuum in between, and I actually developed a 3-stage model specifically for my students that work with my technical programs, and I'll tell you more about that in the next video.